Hello everybody, Dave here for the next episode of Dave Gets Word to do with my table, where I'm going to try and finish off cleaning up the legs, these two legs. I'll try and get that done, and then my legs are pretty much ready for the sanding and a clean. Not that I'm planning on doing that today, but we'll see how we get on with this now. I'm going to need to use my little scraper. Also, I should have moved the camera before and put my gloves on. Okay, so yeah, I've got my little scraper for doing in the grooves on the end of the legs. Okay, so all I need to do is move that one out of the way so we can see this one a little better. I need to restock the dish. We'll go with the wire wool here to really try and get these cleaned up. And I'll do the same as I did with the other legs, where I'll work on one at a time and keep turning them over. Okay, before we really get going, let's just give this a little bit of a digging out. At the end of the day, attention to detail. That's the thing that I think really impresses, well, I wouldn't say impresses people. It's not the wrong word, but it's not necessarily giving the full context. In life, it's people's attention to detail that tends to make the difference, whether it's between a good quality product and a poor one, or a good relationship and a poor one, or being good at your job or not, or enjoying your job or not. I think we kind of live in a world at the moment where it's almost as if the details don't matter, but they do. They really do. It's just, as consumers, for example, we're kind of led to believe that getting it faster, cheaper is the right thing to do, and because it's cheap, it doesn't matter if it breaks, you can get another one. But in reality, I mean, that's not just to say that if it's expensive it's good. That's not always true. But I mean, it's like tools, for example. Okay, take drill bits. You buy cheap drill bits, but they have a much higher chance of breaking than better quality drill bits. At the end of the day, function is more useful than cheapness. Well, it's a little bit like meat, steaks, for example. There are a number of different types of steaks that you can get. And obviously there's the main ones, which are really good. I can't think of them to name them at the moment, but things like ribeye and stuff like that. But you can still have a really nice steak from a much, I was going to say cheaper cut of meat. Now, if you go to a respectable butcher's, then the better the cut of meat, the more expensive it will be. The not so good cut of meats will be cheaper. Now you could get a cheaper steak, but if you try and cook it how you'd cook a ribeye, it ain't going to be anywhere near as good. You may find that you're going to have to cook it for twice as long. You're going to have to slow cook it to get it to release all of its juices, or basically turn it from a tough piece of meat to a tender piece of meat. Right, let's see how we're going to get on here. I won't be surprised if I do have to sort of rub these down a bit, because I did leave quite a lot on. You see our streak marks there. But we know that with the streak marks, what we need to do is just apply the stripper and leave it on for a while. I just kind of want to, not necessarily just quickly go through it, but I want to sort of just try and get around it and give it a nice clean off, and then see where we're up to. See if we've got streaks anywhere, which means that we've got more finish to take off. Also, I'm using a pre-used piece of wire wool here, which won't get everything off. The more gunky it is, the less effective it is. Now, one thing I'm finding with this kind of thing as well is that this is it's good exercise for my arms. Then again, I do tend to do most things with my right hand now, so it's good exercise for my right arm. But I think I've got to a point now where, unfortunately, I have put on a considerable amount of weight. And well, as we know, if you've been following my videos from the start, being able to purchase clothes was something I wasn't able to do for a number of years, so I was limited on what clothes I had and stuff like that, and gaining weight doesn't help with that. I have recently been able to do a bit of shopping, clothes shopping, and been able to buy clothes that fit, and oh my god, it makes such a difference. Not just on the comfort, but the, like for example, if I need to go somewhere, I'm not thinking, you know, what do I look like, because my clothes are fucking, my t-shirts aren't long enough, my belly's showing, or these fucking shorts don't fit, or these trousers don't fit, and then getting all that in my head and having to deal with that and then panicking and stressing, and then because I'm stressing I start sweating, and because I'm sweating I'm now getting hotter, and then the clothes are getting tighter, and it's a horrible vicious triangle. So being able to get some clothes that fit, just taking all of that away. But obviously I've got the issue of I need to lose weight. The difficulty is doing exercise is not easy. Now I know people say that all the time, but when you've got an illness which the main symptoms are pain and fatigue, then it's not easy to do exercise. Now, previously, before the shit at the fan, and I got myself into a decent place, I wasn't exercising then, but I wouldn't say that I was putting much weight on. That's a lovely pattern of a piece of wood that is there. I wouldn't say how sad is that, but it is. I do like nice patterns on wood. So I wasn't exercising then, but I think mentally, I don't think I was far away from that thought process of, right, we're going to hurt ourselves for a greater benefit. And as I was getting to that stage, and I've been working through that process on other things, and it was working, that all went away overnight. Now, it wasn't that long ago that I decided to buy an exercise bike, a second-hand exercise bike, but I barely used it. Two reasons. One, it wasn't really big enough for me. I'm a very tall person, and unfortunately it was an extremely uncomfortable exercise bike for me to try and use, because the physical position of it was not good. Also, because of that, I was struggling to be able to use it, but also it was taking up space in my living room, which is lockdown hit I needed. Now, I did find it difficult to just use it anyway, but I had the initial desire to use it to help lose the weight, but it was too painful to use. Now, with the right equipment, maybe that would change, I don't know, but if the mentality is not there to do it, then the physicality won't be there to do it. And the way this year has started, the mentality has not been there to do it. Let's get a bit more on there. I must have while Will is cleaning this up rather lovely. More streakers. And one, it's sort of going off the last topic a little bit. So doing this, and I'm not in a rush to do this. When I was doing Holly's present, I was in a rush to do that. I put that on myself. Whereas with this, I'm not in a rush at all to get this done, which means I can I can take my time and I can enjoy doing it, which is actually exactly what I'm doing. I'm enjoying doing this. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your hobby is, your hobby should be something that you enjoy. And if it turns out that your hobby ends up being something that you do as a living, then you need to make sure of one of a couple of things really. Number one, that you don't lose the love of what you're doing. A little bit like me, if I was doing this for a living and all of a sudden there was time scales to be applied, got to have it done, or deadlines to be applied, got to have it done by this day, blah, then if it gets rid of the enjoyment of doing it, then is it really worth it? I think that's a fair question. And something else I was thinking about recently was the schooling situation for kids with COVID. I'm not sure if the schools are still currently closed or not, but it got me thinking yesterday or last night that, I mean, not in my lifetime has there been a situation that has caused schools in one area, let alone nationwide, in one area to be closed as many times or for as long as we've had that happen in 2020 and into 21. And I was thinking about how none of us can really relate to what effect it might be having on kids. But then I realised that actually, you know what, I can relate a little bit, because in my final year of school, when obviously we were sorting, like it was the important year with the exams and everything. Well, I ended up getting an injury, a football injury, although I got it in the school playground, which resulted in me not being able to walk. And because I couldn't walk, I needed, well, basically, after a month or two of investigations of finding out what the problem was and scans and stuff, it came to a deciding point where it was a case of, if the problem in my leg was so bad, they'd have to cut my leg open and cut the muscle out. And they didn't want to do that. This is the other option, if it's not too bad, is going to be months of physiotherapy. And that's what it ended up being, months of physiotherapy, every single day, every morning, from about 8:30 till about 12 o'clock, I was at physiotherapy, which meant it was for 6 months of the start of the final year of school. I wasn't at school every day from morning until dinner. So I was there after dinner for 2 hours. And basically my last year of school was a write-off. It was a complete waste of time. Now, I had schoolwork sent to my home and different things like that, but it wasn't the same. It also had a negative impact on social things. And I know for pretty much my whole final year of school, I didn't really give a shit about school, about me. I remember spending more time helping other people with their schoolwork, people that needed the help, perhaps had a few learning difficulties or difficulties spelling or whatever it may be, and I just, I really didn't see the point. I didn't see the benefit of me doing any work, because half of what was being taught, I'd missed. So, yeah. So I pretty much sacked off my old last year of school. I don't really told anybody that, but I know a few of the teachers were aware of it, because when you had what's it, parents night, whatever you call them, parents evening, there was quite a few teachers that would tell my parents that I spend most of my time helping other people. So quite a few of the teachers were aware of what was happening, but it wasn't going to change when I was doing it. But anyway, I mean, think about it. I even ended up having on certain days I would stay at school until quite late in the evening in one of the classrooms, supposedly to catch up with schoolwork, and I wouldn't fucking sit there bored, fucking hated it. Now, what I will say is, definitely didn't help me in the long run. Not just the not being at school, but more than anything, I would probably say the social aspect of things. So I mean, that's something I definitely struggle with now. But then apparently, if I get drunk at a party, I can be quite lively, I can be quite entertaining. But not that I fucking remember it. Got a few street goods. Yeah, so I mean, my education was definitely hindered by not being at school. But even then, that's very different to what kids are going through at the moment, because I mean, at least I then had some time at school, and I had some time with my friends. I mean, at the end of the day, the situation we're going through is unprecedented. No one's ever been through anything like we're going through. Okay, in the past, like Spanish flu or the plague, they would have to probably be the closest things, well, actually worse than what we're going through. But life was very different back then. People were different. I mean, illnesses would spread further and wider, potentially back then, because there was a lot less chance of finding cures. I mean, at the end, we are currently at the peak of the human race's technological advancement. And personally, I think we're still lacking. Anyway. streaks on there that I can see, so I'll just start applying a little bit of my stripper. Give it a bit of time to work in. Other side to do. Okay. I thought I could see a bit of dirt, or like gunky finish over here, and this would explain why. Because we've not got all the way around yet. Now, because I did leave a bit more on these two legs than the others, it has gunked up my wire wool a little bit more. So I want to get the majority off and then just use the last piece I've got already pre-cut for sort of the finer stripping of the streaks. Something I will say actually, because as a kid I would probably been tempted to do this at some point. Well, I don't know how I'd done it with this, but although this wire wool is able to work on this wood without scratching it and marking it, it doesn't mean you could go and use it on other things like a comb. It would take the dirt off, but it would also take the paint off, because it would scratch metal. So there really are some lovely patterns on these legs, which are not really see much of. Oh, I can just pop this one over here. Let's get a cleaner piece of wire wool and we'll work on trying to do a bit of streak removal. Let's find the worst one on there and we can apply a bit. That one, I think. So one of the things that I want to do while we're doing this is not create more streaks. So I will give it a wipe. Up the back, not the front. I should have got more chemical ready, really. So I'll let that sit there for a minute. I do pour a bit more out. See how we get on then with these streak removals. Well, it's not really streak removal, it's finish removal around where the streaks are. The streaks wouldn't be there if there wasn't finish next to them. It's still there a little bit. Give it a little bit more. Oh, I'll give it a moment or two. I'm definitely getting tired now. Going forward to getting a bite to eat and getting a nap. I've still got a bit of streak there. Actually not great, but not terrible. I'm just thinking that when we're getting tired, I think I need to get this all to a point. More streakage on here, just a bit down there. That's one that's soaking in. Couple on there. You might be wondering why I'm not dabbing these ones. It's just to keep control over where the stripper's going, so it's not going all over the sides and dripping. We've made good progress today. Again, it is taking longer than I thought it would. Just in length of time, not in how long it's taking for the chemical to work. No, I'm not. I don't mean that. I just mean how long it's taking me to do this stuff. That's all. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll get these to a point, which is going to be pretty much exactly the point that they're up to once I finish this. And then I can give them a light sanding, give them a clean, and we'll be able to see if we do need to do a little more stripping or not. And if we do, then we do. We'll do it. Okay, that's while that one settles. needs a bit. Oh, move it away a little bit. I know you can't fully see exactly what I'm doing to it, but you get the gist. Just thinking I'm half tempted to give these the light sanding and the clean today, because if I do that today, then it means whenever I come back to these, it'll be the next stage, whether that be doing a little bit more stripping on it, or I'll sand it, but then it means physically sanding it, and really I need the break. Interesting though that is it my passions coming, or whether it that sort of itch of, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do, which is all good, but I know I have to measure myself, not do too much. If I do too much, then I can't do any next time. Yeah, I won't do it today because my hands are struggling enough now that I'm not really, I can't put much force in, and I don't want to be putting much force in. The more force I put in, the more it's going to hurt. Right, I think I've gone all the way around on that one. That's going to need more. Right, because that needs more, I'm going to turn those. Oh shit. That's got one. That's got a few, okay. So I need to leave this for a few minutes, I think, just to really work in, and I'm waiting. Oh, buggered, really buggered. Can't see where the, oh yes, so I can't see where the street was, but I can. Oh. want to leave it for longer, but I haven't got the energy to leave it for longer, so I'm going to go at it, and then that'll be me done. So there's still a bit of work to do on these, but I've done enough for today. And to be fair, I mean, if I'm right, these other legs, I did say with those that they're just about done, but they may just need a little bit more working. But I was going to sand them and clean them up first, and then see what the situation is with them. Oh. And it makes sense to do that with these as well. Oh. Over there. Whew. Seems like it'd be a good idea to let these really dry off as well, because obviously the wood will be soaking in the stripper as well. But that's obviously why we'll need to neutralise the wood at some point, because the stripper is effectively still in there, and if we try applying any kind of finish, then it's going to damage the finish, because that's what it's made to do. So that's why we need to neutralise it with with the white spirits. Okay, that's me done for today. I'm buggered. I'm hungry. I'm tired. We've got a lot done, and I need to clean up. So have a good one, everybody, and on the next video I think we'll be giving these a bit of a sanding and give them a clean, see how they're looking. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you all again soon.